Hello and welcome to part 14 of project SR250. Now, from the last video when I annealed the copper washers for the forks, I got a few messages back, so thanks guys for messaging me, informing silly old cactus that in order for the copper to stay soft, that needs to be quenched. I believe steel is different, so each metal has a different process. So as far as you guys have told me, and I'm going to go with you guys, I need to quench the washers. So I have done that. Haven't bothered filming it. So they're hopefully now back to their soft state, so they're reinstalled. Jen gave me 10 quid as a bit of a loaner to go and get some fork oil, so had to go to Halfords. That's the nearest one to me. Yeah, she gave me a tenner to get that, so that's great. I'm supposed to clean the house as a bit of a payoff for that. But I have started, but the belt snapped on the vacuum cleaner, so I've had to stop. So I've come back in here now. Yeah, if you can't do a proper job, there's no point in starting it. So I have tidied up the house a bit. I've brought in a lot of the, well, in fact, all the parts bar the frame. That's the only thing in the kitchen now, off the bike. So that's all in here. So that's nice and tidy now. We have an almost normal kitchen. So yeah, so I'm pretty much just going to fill the forks up with the oil. What else was I going to do the brakes, but whilst I was bringing all the bits and bobs in, they're the Pro Taper bars that I had lying around, which were going to go on this project. But as I was tidying bits up, I found, I don't even know what make these are. I think they're just bike it probably, alloy ultra low bars, and I actually prefer the kind of the shape on these ones. They're not a million miles away from the Pro Tapers. They're just, there's less pullback on them. They're a bit of a, they were a wider bar, but I've chopped them down by about, I think it's about ½ inch off each side, because they were proper wide. I mean, they're still fairly wide bars now, but yeah, I just prefer these as a kind of as a bar. So they're going to go on. So I'm just going to switch those off and put these on. So just while I'm thinking about it, I've remembered doing it. I won't bother filming that because that's a bit boring. But yeah, the flatter bars will go on, and then we'll fill up with fork oil. So stay tuned for exciting things in the extremely hot and sweaty shed. Right, okay, the handlebars are back together. I think I'm going to drive the fork seals home before I fill them up with oil, because that way we can see if there's any leaking, hopefully, or either from where the copper washer was or from the seal. So I'd forgotten about that, and I haven't got any plastic piping or anything to sort of cut and slide over the stanchion and use it to drive it home. But I have got a bearing, and if I so it's, I don't know, an old wheel bearing, I think possibly, but if I destroy that just to get the outer race, that's the perfect diameter to slide down there. Or I might try cheap and easy and cheerful first, get a big syringe. It's quite a thick, heavy duty one. I'm going to just lob off the end, because that is that is almost bang on the right diameter. Clean the brake fluid out of it first, for the seal. In fact, it's got that edge there, which I might drive it, and then I can flip it for the last bit. But yeah, if I just lob that off, I mean, this is like a 2 quid syringe. So let's see if I can fashion something out of this first. So I'll just cut the end of that off and get rocking. Okay, works like a charm. I've done the one fork leg, so now do the other one. I have my slide, and I'm using that face there to bear down on. I cut with the Dremel, just cut a slit in the bearing, opened it up. The fork seals, I can push it down with my fingers just down to almost flush with the fork bottom, and then I've also filed the edges off here because I just don't want anything sharp at all sort of going on there. So that sits down on the outer part of the seal as well, so it's not bearing down on the important bit. And then took a couple of perfect. Sorted, that's down. So a little circlip on now. Thought I'd change up the camera angle, a bit more of an action shot. Dust cover. Brilliant. Right, that's both of those bad boys done. Let's get them filled up with oil. Right then, just been and double checked on the old Tinterweb. Usually you can get like the amount of air gap you're going to have, and all that kind of sort of how much oil is going to go in there. According to this, a dry fill is 168 cc's or 5.7 fluid ounces. So that's what I'm going to go for. I've checked it on a couple of sources, so if it's on the internet it must be true. Hopefully Jem won't watch this. I've just nicked her Pyrex measuring glass because obviously I cut up my syringe to get the fork seals in, so as long as I'll wash it up before. As tight as I can get it, but I'll torque that up once they're in the pinch clamps. I see no leaks on that one, so that's good. So we'll repeat the process on this one, and then I better go and wash this up before Jen gets home from work. Right then, rear brake ready for reassembly. Pretty straightforward. Just flip that over, put the pin back through the backside, fit the shoes in with the springs, and we're good to go. I will assemble it and then do a picture, because it's going to be a bit awkward otherwise trying to hold a camera and do this one-handed. So right, bear with me. I do feel like I'm about to pass out in here at the moment. I think it's about 27 outside and it feels like 10 times hotter in here. It's not complaining, I like the heat, but be a nice ride out tonight. It's the first Thursday of the month, so it's Crazy Horse late night, and I think it's the Sideburn kind of pre-show night, theme night tonight, so it should be a good laugh. So looking forward to that. My hands are so sweaty, they're just slipping. There we go. Right, so that's pretty much it really. Just they sit with the springs in there, if anyone hasn't seen the inside of a brake shoe, and then that will sit there, and when you depress the brake, that turns that, which will then do it with my sweaty little hands. And as that turns, you can see that pushes the brake shoes out into the drum, into the hub of the wheel, and you hopefully stop. All reassembled, old school, keeping it real. And more of these empty bags now, which is good. It's quite motivating to start seeing sort of nice parts start to come together. It's not all just the dismantling and cleaning and all that kind of crap. But yeah, going to call it a day for that one, because I better nip in and have a quick shower before we nip out. And I shall catch you on part 15. Thanks for watching. Ride safe. Right, hello and welcome to part 14 of SR250. Oh, fuck it. I don't know how to complete tosser. I don't know how to complete tosser. I don't know how to complete tosser.